A main focus of my channel is to discuss games that deserve some more attention. I compiled a list of titles that were released in 2021 that are worth trying out. If a game that you found to be underrated or overlooked was not on this list, let me know in the comments. Since I am just one person and I also cover retro games as well, I have not played every game that was released in 2021. So let's start off with the first one. Let's start off with a game released very late in the year. Ruined King is a turn-based RPG set in the League of Legends universe. These developers have a history of making great games. They worked on everything from the first two Darksiders games, along with Darksiders Genesis and the very good Battle Chasers. The combat system is both familiar and has enough interesting elements to make it unique. There is a lane system which allows your characters to dodge hazards and take advantage of buffs. Along with this, your abilities can be modified on the fly to deal quicker or more powerful versions of them. The progression is addictive and will keep you playing for a long time. Ability points allow you to personalize each of your character's moves. There is enough here to allow you to tweak each character into your version of them. The locations you will be exploring are solid, with plenty of side missions and hidden areas to find. The Ruined King does not break the mold when it comes to traditional RPGs, but it shows and understands what makes these games great, combined with a rich art style and one of 2021's best soundtracks. The biggest disservice was how the publisher stealth released this title. RPG fans should not miss this one. In Sound Mind is a very good psychological horror game that focuses on exploration and puzzle solving. There's plenty of satisfying smaller moments where you try to put two and two together. For example, in one level there is a ghost that haunts the location. Your objective is to find all of the mirrors and get her to destroy them, but she will occasionally show up as you are exploring as well. And since this ghost hates mirrors, I thought maybe I could show her a piece of glass as a means to show her reflection to get her to go away. Oddly enough, this worked, and it was very satisfying as the game provides you with clues, but never holds your hands to the answers. Each of the environments are distinct from each other, with many introducing new mechanics to help give each one personality. For example, one level revolves around light and dark. Throughout the campaign, you will be revisiting the hub building, and it gradually expands as you obtain new items. In Sound Mind does have some flaws, like relatively weak combat, but overall the exploration, puzzle solving, and story more than make up for it. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 may be a bit long-winded in its name, but as a game, it's great. This is the perfect example of a AA game done right, sold at a reduced price with a wealth of content for the player. Levels in the contract games are huge, offering a lot of replay from the unlocks that you earn along with the multiple ways you can play it. The sniping is the main star of the combat, with some of the most satisfying kills next to the Sniper Elite series. The sniper rifles sound powerful, and the over-the-top dismemberment is a perfect fit for a game like this. Combined with the sniping is solid shooting and a decent stealth system, meaning that you have a lot of ways to tackle the levels. I highly recommend this game for anyone who enjoys first-person shooters. Severed Steel is a first-person shooter that successfully combines the first-person combat of Fear and combines it with the movement found in Mirror's Edge. You can slide, wall run, and dive to pull off stylish moves to avoid enemy fire. The player can easily pick up new weapons while sliding around and turn on slow-mo to glorify the action even further. The addiction comes into play with how this game is an absolute blast with its gameplay loop. I never got tired of moving creatively, adapting to new situations as the enemies reacted to all of my choices. The campaign is rather short, but the meat of the action and replay comes from the firefight mode. This is Severed Steel's arcade mode and where you try to get the highest score. Since each map has several ways you can tackle it, and the enemies are built to react to your actions, you will never get tired of this game. This is an awesome title. Riftbreaker may have received high marks from critics, but it did not receive enough attention, especially with how good this game is. At first glance, you may think this game is a bit overwhelming with what you need to do, but all of the base building components are introduced to the player in simple yet enjoyable ways, mixed with some twin-stick shooting action. The campaign provides the player with clear objectives while introducing new mechanics and survival elements. Much of the game will be trying to build up different resources so that you can build new structures and upgrades. There's plenty to discover with the upgrades for your base, along with your mech itself. At set intervals, you will need to contend with a large wave of enemies and mount a defense. This is where the game feels like a tower defense game as you quickly build up towers and walls to keep the enemy waves at bay. There's new regions to visit to explore new areas and find better items. The one major downside I did encounter is that during some of the bigger waves, the frame rate can take a huge hit. This game continually dangles a carrot in front of the player, and it is addicting to build up your base. This is a wonderful base building twin stick shooter. Harada is a really good first-person shooter and a good example of early access done right, and very impressive coming from a solo dev. Harada is a retro first-person shooter that captures both the look and style from those games. More importantly, it commands and understands on what made those games special. The shooting action is generally really good, and there are plenty of secrets to find in each of the levels. From the early access side of things, the developer is continually taking feedback on this game to make it better. Some of the gun sounds could use some more punch, but overall, this is a rewarding first-person shooter that is worth getting. Alien's Fireteam Elite is a very fun co-op game that delivers on its concept along with respecting the source material. Fireteam Elite perfectly captures the look and feel from the films, with terrifying creatures to fight and powerful weapons to fire, with some having their iconic gun sounds. The xenomorphs come in different forms, and when combined with the androids, you have a good variety of foes to fight. Each of the player classes come with their own strengths and weaknesses, as you fill an important role on your team. Like I said, this is a great title to play in co-op. There is a single player option, but it does not provide you with the true experience. Fireteam's minute-to-minute gameplay mixed with its progression creates an addictive and enjoyable gameplay loop. The Medium is a fun, story-driven adventure game. The gameplay is rooted in traditional adventure game elements. You will be walking around rooms, interacting with objects, and trying to use items to move forward. The most unique element of the game are the split-screen sequences. It is here where you will control both yourself in the real world and in the spirit realm. Sometimes you will need to do something in one realm to allow you to progress in another. These are some of the best gameplay parts in the game. There are some moments of action, mainly relating to chase sequences, and while they can be fun, there are some gotcha moments built into them. The focus is on the narrative, and this is where the game truly shines. Its story and presentation. Both the visuals and soundtrack deserves a lot of praise as well. I am still a bit conflicted on the ending, as it lacks some closure while being a good cliffhanger if we get a proper sequel. If you are looking for a game with deep gameplay mechanics, then skip this one. If you want an engaging story and like old school adventure games, then give this a try.
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No. Rocket. So I let Groot fill out the paperwork. I fixed it with an addendum.
Not the most well-known heroes you could hire, but definitely in the top 5 of most awesome names. Contributing members. Groot, a Flora Colossus, last of his kind, fearless in a firefight, an awesome best friend. Rocket, bona fide super genius and a wizard with explosives. Definitely not a raccoon. Gamora, adopted daughter of Thanos, deadliest woman in the galaxy. Need we say more? Drax the Destroyer, convicted serial murderer and galactic war hero, often grumpy. Last and definitely least, Peter Jason Quill.
That's it? That's all you wrote? There was a character limitation.
When Guardians was first announced, I was not sold by it at all. After the heavily flawed release of the Avengers, I was really cautious of the next Marvel project published by Square. I also thought that Eidos Montreal was not the right developer for a Guardians game. After playing the game, I was proven wrong in every way. Guardians of the Galaxy is easily one of the best games to come out in 2021. The developers exceeded my expectations with some of the best writing in a AAA game, with consistent humor, quality drama, and good character development. The combat is pretty fun, as it acts like a streamlined version of Final Fantasy VII Remake's battle system. This area could have used more options and refinement, as the combat encounters felt tedious towards the last third of the game. Thankfully, the boss fights were all really good. I was really impressed with how this developer, who is known for in-depth stealth-based RPGs, was able to pivot and make a memorable single-player game with a great story and character interactions. I do want to see them to get to close out their Deus Ex trilogy, but I would also like to see a sequel to this game as well. Guardians generally scored well and even earned some game awards for whatever that is worth, but this game still deserves more attention, as I think this is one that most gamers would enjoy. And that concludes my list of underrated games from 2021. What were some of your favorite underrated titles? And if you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you'd like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.